Absolutely, here's a powerful, gripping opening segment for your speech, Achieve What They Called Impossible. Written in the style and emotional intensity of Eric Thomas, raw, real, and meant to grab the audience by the soul and make them lock in for the entire speech. Listen to me real close. Right now, I didn't come here to motivate you for 5 minutes. I didn't show up so you could feel good, get chills, and then go right back to being average. I came here to tell you something that could change your life forever, but only if you're ready to hear it. You see, the reason you're stuck, the reason you keep feeling like you're hitting a wall, it's not because you're not talented, it's not because you're not smart, it's not because God forgot about you. No, the reason you're stuck is because you keep believing the lie they told you. The lie that says, you'll never make it. The lie that says, that dream, too big. That voice that whispers, people like you don't do stuff like that. Let me tell you something, they don't get to define you. They don't know what you're capable of, and they sure don't have the right to tell you what's possible for your life. But here's the catch, neither do you, until you make the decision to show up and fight for it like your life depends on it. Until you decide you're done playing small. Until you decide you're done letting fear, doubt, and failure write your story. You've been living in survival mode. Now it's time to live in purpose mode. I'm talking to the part of you that's sick and tired of watching everybody else win while you keep making excuses. I'm talking to the version of you that lays in bed at night knowing you were made for more. I'm here for the one that's been knocked down so many times, you started to believe maybe they were right about you. Nah, they weren't right. You just haven't tapped into the right frequency yet. You just haven't fully locked in. But that changes today, right here, right now. This ain't just another speech. This is war against everything trying to stop you from becoming who you were born to be. So if you've ever been overlooked, underestimated, told you were crazy for dreaming that big, good, that means this is for you. You're exactly where you need to be. But don't you dare leave this speech the same person who pressed play. I need you to commit not just to hearing this, but to living this. Not just listening with your ears, but with your spirit, because when it's all said and done, they gon' say it was impossible and you're gonna be the one who proved 'em wrong. Let's get it. You've been listening to the wrong voice for too long. That voice in your head that says I'm not good enough. I wasn't born for this. Maybe they were right about me. That voice didn't come from your destiny, it came from your doubt, and it's time to shut it down. Because as long as you keep repeating the story they gave you, you will live a life they designed for you, not the one you were meant to live. You gotta understand something, the impossible don't start outside of you. It starts right here, in your mind, in your beliefs, in your thoughts. Before anybody else believed it wasn't possible, you did. Before they ever told you you can't. That seed had already been planted by your own insecurity. That's where the battle really is. Not in the gym, not on the field, not in the classroom. The real fight is happening every single day in your mind. And if you don't learn to win that battle, you're gonna lose before you even get started. You gotta kill the old narrative, that version of you who accepted less, that version of you who made excuses, that version who settled for comfort instead of chasing. Calling that version doesn't get to come with you into the next season. That voice that says, I'm just not that kind of person, kill it. That mindset that says, I've never seen anyone from my family do this before, kill it. Just because they didn't doesn't mean you can't. Just because nobody else had the courage to try doesn't mean you won't be the first to succeed. Stop waiting for somebody to give you permission to be great. Stop asking the world if it's okay to believe in yourself. Give yourself permission. Speak life back into your dream. Speak strength into your spirit. Reprogram the software in your mind until the only voice you hear is the one that says, let's go get it. You keep saying I'll believe it when I see it. But I'm telling you, you'll see it when you believe it. You'll see doors open when you believe you belong in the room. You'll see opportunities when you stop focusing on your obstacles. It's your own vision that's been blurry, not the dream. The dream's been waiting for you to catch up. You don't need more talent, more money, more time. You need more belief. You need to wake up every morning and tell yourself, I'm built for this. I'm anointed for this. I've been through too much to quit now. I've sacrificed too much to turn around now. Stop letting people who gave up on their dreams talk you out of yours. Stop looking for confirmation from people who have never walked the path you're on. Some of y'all are holding on to words from 10 years ago. A teacher, a parent, a coach, somebody you trusted told you you weren't good enough, and you've been carrying that lie around like it was truth. But today we let it go. Today we bury that. Today we rewrite the script. That ain't who you are anymore. You're not broken. You're not forgotten. You're not weak. You're a warrior in the middle of your process. You're a winner learning how to fight again. You're somebody that refuses to accept average another day in their life. If you want to achieve what they called impossible, you have to stop repeating what they believed about you and start creating what you believe about you. When you change the words, you change the world, your world. And when you finally realize that your thoughts are the blueprint for your reality, you'll stop being casual with what you think. You'll start guarding your mind like your future depends on it, because it does. You're not here by accident. You're not breathing for nothing. There is greatness inside of you, but it can only be unlocked when you start talking to yourself like you're chosen, like you're called, like you were born to shake the world. And once you get your mind right, once you flip that switch, there is nothing, and I mean nothing, that can stop you from walking into everything they said was impossible. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to cross the finish line. Everybody wants to hold up the trophy, to be remembered, to stand on that stage and hear the crowd scream their name. But not everybody wants to put in the work when nobody's watching. Not everybody wants to grind when it's cold, when it's dark, when it's lonely, and that's the difference. That's where the gap is. The impossible gets done by the ones who show up every single day with discipline, not by the ones who only show up when they feel like it. You keep waiting for motivation to carry you, but motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire. Discipline is what gets you up when your body says stay in bed. Discipline is what puts your shoes on when your emotions say skip today. Discipline doesn't care how you feel, it only knows the mission. And if you're serious about doing something they said was impossible, you can't afford to negotiate with your feelings anymore. Your feelings don't build legacies. Discipline does. Look, you can dream big. You can have all the vision boards, all the affirmations, all the goals written on your mirror in red marker. But if you don't have the discipline to follow through, none of it matters. Everybody's inspired on January 1st. Everybody's hyped after a speech. But what happens on day 17 when nobody's clapping for you? What happens when the high wears off and it's just you, your goals, and the silence? That's when discipline has to kick in and remind you of the standard you set when you were fired up. People ask, how do you stay consistent? It's simple. I don't give myself another option. I don't let myself negotiate with laziness. I don't wait until I feel like doing it. I decide I'm doing it, period. And you gotta get to that place. Because when you start operating from discipline instead of emotion, you take control of your future. You stop being a slave to how you feel and start becoming a master of what you do. Let me be real with you. There are no shortcuts to the impossible, no hacks, no easy routes. You can't skip steps and expect to stand on top of mountains. Every level requires a new version of you, and that version will only be born through discipline, through waking up early, through pushing your limits, through making sacrifices. You want to do something no one in your family's ever done. Then you gotta work like nobody in your family's ever worked. And here's the thing, discipline isn't about perfection. It's not about getting it right every time. It's about showing up, no matter what. Some days you'll be tired. Some days you'll mess up. Some days you won't even want to keep going. But if you've got discipline, you'll lace up anyway. You'll step up anyway. You'll push through anyway. Because you know that momentum builds when commitment outlasts convenience. That's what separates winners, not talent, not luck, not even passion. It's the discipline to keep going when it's not sexy. When there's no applause, when your name isn't in lights yet. Because the impossible doesn't get accomplished in highlight reels. It gets built in the shadows, in the early mornings, in the late nights. In the repetition of the small things that nobody sees but everybody feels when the results show up. You think people who break records, who build empires, who change the world, you think they're lucky. No, they're just consistent, they're just faithful. They just kept doing the little things every day with big faith. They didn't quit when it was hard. They didn't fold when it got tough. They stayed the course. They showed up. They stayed locked in. You want the impossible, then match it with unshakable discipline. Let your actions speak louder than your dreams. Let your work ethic become louder than your words. And when the day comes that they ask you how you did it, when they're standing there in disbelief, all you'll have to say is, I was consistent, I was disciplined, I never stopped showing up. Everybody wants greatness, but not everybody wants what greatness costs. See, you've been praying for elevation, but you're still holding onto comfort. You've been asking for more, but you're still living like less is enough. You say you want to achieve what they called impossible, and I believe you, but the question is, what are you willing to give up to get it? You can't keep talking about winning while holding on to everything that's keeping you from it. Greatness doesn't come free. It comes at a price, and most people aren't willing to pay it. Most people want the results, but not the sacrifice. They want to look like they're working, but they don't want to feel what it actually takes. You think you can stay safe, stay comfortable, stay around the same people doing the same things, and somehow create a life nobody's ever seen before. That math don't add up. You gotta be real with yourself. Comfort feels good, but it doesn't grow you. It keeps you stuck in cycles. Comfort keeps you from starting the business. Comfort tells you to sleep in instead of train. Comfort convinces you that maybe next year is a better time. Comfort makes you feel like preparation is enough, but execution is where it happens. And execution demands sacrifice. It demands that you give up what's easy for what's necessary. Let me tell you something, the people who achieved the impossible, they gave up something to get there. They gave up the parties. They gave up their ego. They gave up the need to be liked. They gave up sleep. They gave up comfort zones that were keeping them small. They stopped asking for permission. They stopped looking for validation. They stopped needing everything to be perfect before they made a move. They moved, and because of that, mountains moved too. You want to be different, then do what different people do. Step away from what's familiar. Let go of who you were. That old version of you that needed everybody's approval, that needed everything to be predictable and safe, that version doesn't get to cross into greatness. You can't drag average with you into excellence. You can't carry convenience into a calling. You gotta drop it. You gotta sacrifice, and I know it hurts. I know it's hard. I know walking away from things that once gave you comfort feels like loss, but it's not a loss. It's an investment. When you sacrifice now, you buy freedom later. When you let go of the good, you make room for the great. It's gonna feel like you're losing at first, but what you're really doing is planting. You're sowing in silence. You're sacrificing today so you can stand tomorrow in a position no one thought you could reach. People will call you crazy. Let 'em. People will say you're doing too much. Let 'em. People will tell you to be realistic. Let 'em. They don't see what you see. They don't feel what you feel. They didn't get the vision like you did. You're not here to be understood, you're here to be legendary. And legends are built in fire. Legends are born in discomfort. Legends rise when the rest quit. So you can either stay comfortable and stay average, or you can stretch, sacrifice, and elevate. But you can't have both. Don't ask for more if you're not ready to let go of less. Don't say you want the impossible if you're not willing to walk a path others fear. This ain't about talent. This ain't about luck. This is about your ability to say no to what's easy and yes to what's necessary over and over again. The level you're asking for demands a level of sacrifice you've never given before. So don't just dream about the impossible, trade for it. Trade your fear for faith. Trade your excuses for execution. Trade your comfort for commitment. Because once you make the sacrifice, you'll start becoming the person that impossible was always waiting on. You ever notice how loud people get when you start moving different? The moment you step out of line, the moment you stop playing small and start aiming big, here come the voices. You doing too much. That's unrealistic. Who do you think you are? That's when you know you're getting close. That's when you know you're on the edge of something real. Because people don't talk like that to folks who stay stuck. They save that for the ones who start walking toward the impossible. You've got to stop letting their doubt become your story. Stop letting their fear become your ceiling. See, most people don't doubt you. They just don't believe they could ever do what you're doing. So when they say it's impossible, they're talking about themselves. But you've been internalizing it like it's truth about you. And that's where you've been making the mistake. Because if you let them plant that seed, you'll start playing small to make other people comfortable. You'll start dimming your light just so it doesn't blind folks who never had the courage to shine. You can't do that. You weren't built to fit in. You weren't called to shrink. You weren't born just to survive and keep your head down. You were designed to stand up, to stand out, and to show this world that impossible is just a word until somebody like you comes along and proves otherwise. Every time they tell you you can't, that's your fuel. That's your signal. That's the moment you double down. You need to get to a place where doubt energizes you, where that'll never work. Sounds like watch me. Where you hear you're crazy and respond with good. Because if they're not questioning your vision, it probably ain't big enough. If they're not uncomfortable with how far you're reaching, maybe you're still playing it too safe. You don't achieve what they called impossible by being liked. You do it by being relentless. Every great story has a chapter where nobody believed. Nobody clapped. Nobody saw the value. And that's the chapter most people quit in. But not you. You don't stop there. You keep writing. You keep showing up. You keep swinging. And eventually, the same ones who doubted you will be the ones quoting you, taking notes from you, asking for advice from you. But you don't get to that point if you let their opinions weigh more than your purpose. People are gonna talk. Let 'em whisper, let 'em doubt. Let 'em laugh. While they're busy running their mouths, you run your race. While they're busy pointing fingers, you put in the work. They'll say it's luck. They'll say you changed. They'll try to act like they always knew. But deep down, you'll know the truth. They doubted you because you reminded them of what they gave up on. Your drive, your belief, your focus, it made them uncomfortable with their own excuses. And that's not your problem. The only thing that matters is that you don't let their disbelief stop you from stepping fully into your gift. Because that's what this is really about, stepping into who you were always meant to be. The version of you that doesn't fold under pressure, the version of you that turns pain into power, the version of you that walks into rooms knowing you belong, even if nobody else sees it yet. The impossible gets done by people who take doubt and turn it into determination, who take criticism and turn it into commitment, who take every "you'll never" and use it as motivation to create a "watch me." And when you start to walk like that, talk like that, grind like that, impossible doesn't stand a chance. So let them talk, let them doubt. You just keep showing up, keep working, and keep building. Because when the dust settles and the noise fades, and it's finally time to show receipts, you'll be the one standing there, not just believing in the impossible, but living it.